Welcome to Midnight Terrors, where spine-chilling tales come to life. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications. You don't want to miss a single story that'll keep you up at night. We're on a mission to grow, and your support is everything. Share these terrifying stories with your friends, family, and anyone who dares to listen. Thanks for being part of the journey. Let's begin. Peter had been worn down by work, barely managing to get any sleep. His girlfriend had sensed the toll it was taking and suggested a secluded escape by the scenic Bobo Waterfall. With only one accommodation available at the last minute, they didn't think twice about booking it. The twin apartment was breathtaking, a luxurious retreat equipped with everything they could need: a private chef, a massage therapist, a personal gym, a mini theater, and multiple sitting rooms. It was a dream come true. When they arrived, the chef, a reserved man with a cold, unsettling gaze, greeted them. He informed them that the owner lived next door in the adjoining apartment but had left for a family funeral. The chef's tone was neutral, almost rehearsed, and he disappeared shortly after mentioning dinner would be ready soon. That evening, Peter and his girlfriend enjoyed an exquisite meal in the lavish dining room, every bite filled with delicate, complex flavors. Despite the rich surroundings, something about the place felt eerie. The rooms seemed too silent, and the shadows in the corners felt almost alive. When Peter glanced toward the door leading to the adjoining unit, he noticed a faint sound, almost like a soft scratching or tapping. He brushed it off, thinking it must have been the chef or the wind. They retired early, lulled into drowsiness by the full meal and the rhythmic flow of the waterfall in the distance. But at around midnight, Peter woke suddenly, startled by a harsh, shattering crash. Heart-pounding, he reached for the closest thing he could find, a heavy metal lamp, and crept toward the hallway. The sound had come from the apartment beside theirs, the one the chef said was empty. He waited, listening, but the silence was suffocating. After a few tense moments, he returned to bed, though sleep didn't come easily. Not long after, just as he was drifting off again, a shrill, agonized scream pierced the silence. It was the unmistakable wail of a woman, desperate and filled with terror. It echoed through the walls, joined by the faint cries of a baby. The sound seemed to swirl around them, filling every corner of the room. Peter's girlfriend clutched his arm, her face pale with fear, and begged him to call the police. The authorities arrived quickly, flashing lights casting strange shadows against the walls of the luxurious apartment. The cries continued to echo, leading the officers to the wall they shared with the adjoining apartment. There, they found a faint outline of a hidden door, buried under a thin layer of plaster and wallpaper. The officers broke through the plaster, revealing a small crawlspace, just big enough to slip through. The crawlspace opened into a narrow staircase, leading downward into an unknown basement. The deeper they descended, the colder the air became, thick with the damp scent of decay and mold. Their flashlights barely penetrated the suffocating darkness, revealing rusted chains dangling from the walls, remnants of something sinister. The cries grew louder and more desperate, reverberating from the end of a long, narrow hallway. Each step echoed in the silence, heightening the tension as they reached the source of the sound. At the end of the hallway, they found a small cell, its bars thick with rust. Inside was a woman, gaunt and hollow-eyed, clutching a pale, silent child. Her expression was one of profound relief mixed with fear as she gazed at the officers. She explained, in a voice barely above a whisper, that she had been held captive here for over 2 years. Her captor, she said, was no ordinary landlord. He was a dangerous drug lord, keeping her in isolation and forcing her to bear his child in captivity. As the officers tried to help the woman out, they stumbled upon a stash of heavy duffel bags in a corner of the basement. The bags were filled with a nightmarish arsenal: guns, grenades, and stacks of cash bound in thick rubber bands. It was a fortress disguised as a retreat, a hidden stronghold meant to supply an entire network of criminals. As they moved quickly to secure the area, an officer noticed a strange symbol etched into the walls, a symbol linked to a notorious cartel. Realizing the magnitude of what they had uncovered, he called for backup. The morning sky began to lighten, casting an eerie glow over the complex as more police vehicles arrived, sirens breaking the stillness. Peter and his girlfriend, still shaken and haunted by the night's events, packed their things and left. As they drove away from Bobo Waterfall, they couldn't shake the ghostly cries that still lingered in their minds, nor the realization of how close they had come to becoming pawns in a horror hidden behind the beautiful facade of their idyllic weekend retreat. Hold on tight, because you're about to enter a world of pure terror. Hit that subscribe button now and ring the bell if you dare. You wouldn't want to miss these spine-chilling updates. Think you're brave enough? Then go ahead. Choose the video on my right or maybe the one on my left. But beware, these aren't just stories, they're nightmares that will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Not everyone makes it through. So, viewer discretion advised. Only the fearless will survive the terror waiting within.